All right, thank you. And Jackie, yes, to answer your question, we will be sharing the PowerPoint afterwards. You take whatever notes are necessary from what's spoken, but the PowerPoint itself will be available to you. And thanks for coming. Good to see you, Jackie.
Wonderful. Well, good evening. Thank you so much, Doug, for the intro. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. My name, as mentioned, is Cassandra Birdelli, and I am the English speaking community coordinator at Alloprof. I'm really thrilled to be here with you today. Just to give you some context, prior to my role at Alloprof, I worked as a high school mathematics teacher for 7 years. And as a parent to a toddler who will eventually join our school system, I'm particularly invested in contributing to and sharing this resource with you. So tonight I'm here to connect with you as parents who are clearly invested in supporting your child's educational experiences. And obviously, as we find ourselves already in March, which is an incredible thing that time passes so quickly, it can be a great time to learn about new support tools for your children. I know we're entering exam season, and I'm here to show you some of the great resources we have. It's also a chance for you to ask some questions about our platform, maybe give some insight into your personal experiences with your child's learning experience at school. And I just want to reassure you that everyone working at Alloprof is like a bee in a beehive. So everything I'm about to show you today is only going to get better as we continue to grow and interact with especially the English speaking community. So I'm going to dive into what you can expect from our presentation today. I'm going to briefly overview who we are in case you've never heard of us. Then I'm going to dive into the student resources and services that we have to offer your children. And then I'm going to dive into one of our newer platforms called Alloprof Parents. And hopefully you'll gain some insight into both of these platforms. So I'm just going to go over briefly who we are. And our mission is really simple, but it's powerful. It's to help students in Quebec transform academic challenges into successes. And we do this by offering services that are not only free. So everything I'm going to show you today is absolutely free, but they're also professional and stimulating. So every child has access to quality educational support without barriers. Our guiding light, our North Star, is to empower every student to succeed. We believe we achieve this by blending the best of teaching methods with cutting edge technology. And this combination ensures that our resources are both effective and engaging and current as well. So we try to keep students motivated and eager to learn with the world that we are living in today. To give you an idea of our presence in the Quebec community, we've been around for quite a while. Alloprof has only recently become accessible to English-speaking communities, so we only recently started our adaptation of our content in 2022. But we've been innovating and supporting students for 28 years now, almost 29, which is really incredible. And we're really proud of the impact we've made. We support nearly 550,000 students each year with the help of over 105 teachers that we have on staff that I'll talk a bit more about later, but this fluctuates, this number. Sometimes we have much more. And we have an extensive library of over 150,000 educational resources. And our services foster 60 million educational interactions annually. And what's really important, what the stat that I want to share with you is that 92% of parents who use our platform or who use it with their children believe that Alloprof has had a real impact on their child's educational successes. So I think that speaks for itself. And it's why I'm so excited to share this resource with you today. I'm going to give you a few other tidbits about us throughout the presentation, but without further ado, I am actually going to dive into the student resources and services. So how we can support your child's learning in and out of the classroom. So we have a really comprehensive support system. And I do want to mention, sorry, because this question was asked earlier, you will receive this presentation and all of these icons that you see are all clickable links. So everything's going to be really easy for you to find once you have access to this presentation. You also have my contact information if you have any further questions. So dive back into it, but we believe that we have a really comprehensive support service for students. So we have autonomous resources, individual support, and peer support. Our autonomous resources are really designed to help students learn new material, absorb material. We also have ways that they can practice. We know how important it is for them to practice the skills that they learn in order for them to retain them. And we have ways that they can review content, let's say for assessments or exams, all on our website. So below you'll see icons for concept sheets, the videos that we have to offer, pedagogical games, interactive exercises, and crash courses. And these are all great things, and I'm going to dive into what they are individually. But I also want to tell you about our individual and our peer support. And, our individual support is what we call the Ask a Teacher portion of our website. And I'm going to dive onto the next slide to give you a bit more context. We have a portion of our website called the Ask a Teacher platform, and it's really at the ethos of who we are, because as you may know, if you've heard about us before, Alloprof actually started as a TV show on Télé Québec 28 years ago, where students would call in and ask their homework related questions. And now, as interesting as that sounds, and many students actually did call in. The ratings for the show were not great, understandably, but the want to support these students that did have questions and wanted somewhere to go with those questions remained really at the core of who we are. So we have this service still where students, your children, could call in, text, or chat for any homework related question, Monday through Thursday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Now, these hours are subject to change. We sometimes increase those hours during times where there might be more required support. So maybe during exam periods, we were even open during the March break, and we let you know on our website when those changes do happen, but it's usually even more support that we offer you. We also have the help zone, and I'm going to dive into that when I show you our website. And that's where students can go if they have a question outside of those hours where teachers are available immediately. But they can go ask their question, and as soon as the teacher is available, they will have a response. Now, I'm going to just briefly mention a few things because I wanted to put this on the presentation so you had access to them. But we have over 2,000 concept sheets, 500 videos, 30 crash courses, and not to mention, and this is particularly interesting for perhaps the high school parents out there, but we have ministry exam simulations, grade and subject-specific review guides, and mathematics memory aids. We also have 490 interactive exercises where your children would get immediate feedback. We know that once they complete a test in class, they're usually eager to know how they've done. And so we kind of keep that in mind, and they do get immediate feedback, at least from our tools. And we also have pedagogical games because we believe that learning should be fun, and we try to make things as engaging as possible. And without further ado, I'm actually going to dive into the website itself because really our platform speaks for itself. And so I'm just going to make sure, yes, you have followed me to the website. And there's a few things I want to show you. Now, I'm just going to make sure my mouse is visible. And so, yes, all right. So this is Alloprof, and you know that you're on the student-facing platform when you see Flo's face here. You'll also notice we have a little tab up here for students, parents, and teachers. And the way that you would navigate, or your children would navigate our website, they can navigate by subject. So you'll see the subjects that we offer to support them with any of their school-related questions, concerns, wanting to practice. We have math, chemistry, science, tech, a ton of material. What I also love to remind parents is that we have support from grade 1 all the way through secondary 5. So no matter what grade your child is in, they can dive onto our website and explore the wealth of resources that we have to offer. And then you can also explore our content by type of content. So we have concept sheets, exercises, games, videos, crash courses, and exam prep and study tips, which will be very useful in the coming months. And as I mentioned, we have the Ask a question portion of our website right here. And I'm going to dive in right away just because it was on the tip of our tongue a moment ago. So you'll notice once the page does load, I guess it is a busy period, but on this platform or on this web page, you'll see that we have two ways that our children can ask questions. They can go directly and chat with a teacher. So I'm not going to open it up just now because I want to make sure that our teachers are available for the other students who want to ask questions, but they can go and begin chatting with a teacher. These are real Quebec teachers that have given their time and their expertise outside of their regular teaching hours. So you can be rest assured that they're getting quality responses. We also have the help zone here where your children could go if they have a homework related question. And let's say it's 9 o'clock and they're still doing some reviewing for an assessment the next day. They can come here, and as soon as a teacher is available, they can then ask their questions. So I'll show you what this looks like. Here, a child would ask their question. They can identify what subject that they would need support in, and they have to identify their grade level. I will mention that to use this resource as well as our Ask a Teacher resource, they have to have an account with us. All you need to create an account is an email address, and the name is a randomly generated name. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when they do ask a question. And because our platform has French and English resources, they can ask their question in either language that they feel comfortable with. So here we have a question from Adorable Pearl. What is a galaxy and how many total estimated galaxies are there? That's an excellent question that I certainly don't know the answer to, but we have an explanation from Alloprof here, and you'll see that we have a written out explanation with links to other resources if that's pertinent for that particular question. I do want to show you that students, children as well, can also upload photos of their homework. So we know for subjects like math or science or physics, it's always great to have a photo of the question in question. And so here they can upload photos of their homework and their work as well to get more of a personalized response. So that is our help zone. That's our Ask a Teacher section of our website. And again, it's really at the core of who we are. And it's something I'm always very proud to show.
Hi,
But I'm going to
Cassandra.
Yes.
We have a question
Already. Okay. Yes.
from Jackie. Her question is, are there high school teachers that can answer English questions in all core subjects?
Yes. Yes, we have teachers for all core subjects and that are available to answer in both French and English. So we're staffed for that as well.
Okay, and another question we have from Catherine.
Of course. Yes.
So my question is, how long does it take for the answer to come when a student writes a question by email or by chat?
Oh, if it's through the Ask a Teacher question, so I'll go back here. So in Ask a Question, if you chat with the teacher, it's open, you get an answer immediately. So I can go in and I would need to log into my account, but I would be connected with a teacher, kind of like on a chatbot that you would go onto a website, but this is a real person. So you would identify what subject you need help with. For example, I'm in secondary 1, and you'll be connected with a teacher in English. So here you can see, greetings, my pseudonym, please enter your question. And when we find a teacher to help you as fast as possible, and usually there's a delay of maximum 5 minutes. It's not a long delay. If the question was posed on the help zone, there would be a longer delay, and that could take up to 24 hours usually.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I'm going to close this chat so that the teachers don't get put on my question. But I'm going to dive into our resources that support your children's learning, that are ready to use, and autonomous learning resources. So, for example, let's say you have a 4th grader at home, and they come home and they say, I learned something called I don't know, imperative sentences today, and I didn't really understand it. I'd like to look at it a bit more. Wouldn't we love to hear that? That we'd want to look at it a little bit more. So we know that imperative sentences, they would learn about this in English class. So I could dive in and go through subjects, English language arts, and see what I have to offer you here. So here I have almost 250 different resources to help you in ELA. And this would include games, concept sheets, our exercises. So you can filter easily by grade level here on the side. You can also filter by content type. I'm going to show you a concept sheet because it's really the first line of defense when wanting to review something. So I said the child came home, I think I said imperative sentences. So let's see what I have to offer you here. We have 6 different results on imperative sentences. And I could see here that this one is a concept sheet. This concept sheet covers grade 1 to 4. So I can go and dive right in. And our concept sheets are akin to class notes or textbook pages. We work with and I'm just going to be scrolling to show you kind of what it looks like. We have a table of contents here that you can jump to specific ideas, but we work with a really talented team of graphic designers to make the concepts visual, to make them engaging. What I love about these concept sheets too is that when they're used in class, often students can act these situations out. But what I have here that just popped up on my screen is what we call an interactive exercise. So once your child has read through this concept and maybe they're thinking, oh, I think I got this, I think I understood, they can actually answer a few questions about the concept to see if they really did. And because I'm logged into my account, you will have seen that I've already answered these questions with another group, but I'll dive right in and retry. Here it says, select the imperative sentence among the following. Give me a piece of paper, please. I need a piece of paper. Could you give me a piece of paper? And I would like you to give me a piece of paper, please. So after reading about imperative sentences, I can now see, did I really understand? And I'm going to make a mistake here because part of learning is making mistakes. So once I make a mistake, I received feedback. So here it says, make sure the subject is the implied you. So after I kind of think about that, I can try again. So here I'll do, give me a piece of paper, please, and I'll submit and can move on to the next question. What's great about these are, even if you make mistakes, and I can make a mistake more than once, I'll try this one because I know it's incorrect. Now I used up my chances to get it right the first time, and we can now go back and see, okay, throughout this exercise, I'm now able to go back and review what questions I got wrong once I completed the whole thing. So this concept sheet encompasses notes for your child to review certain concepts. It's kind of like a textbook, but with this interactive exercise component where they can get immediate feedback on their understanding of a concept. And now I showed you one in English, but we have them for science, math, and so on throughout all these grade levels. So these textbooks are a great, or concept sheets rather, are a great way to kind of learn about a concept or maybe even review. But we know that children nowadays tend to love to absorb things through video. So I'm going to show you our videos. So if we go to explore here, I'm gonna click here on videos. And the reason our videos are so great is because all of our content on the Alloprof website is catered to our progression of learning in Quebec. So often my students, when I was teaching, would tell me, oh, miss, I wanted to review that. And I went to YouTube, but I couldn't really find what I was looking for. And that's because YouTube has a wealth of things, but it takes things from all around the world, which is beautiful, but it's not necessarily what we're looking for here. We really want content that is tailored for our children and their learning experiences here. So all of the videos are really in accordance with our progression of learning. So we have over 500 now, and they cover, like I said, from grade 1 all the way to grade 11. We have financial education, science. So let me show you, for example, we did grade 4 before. Let's do a high school level. I'm going to show you a science video. And so here, compressible and incompressible fluids. I know this is for secondary 3. They're usually quite short. This one's about 3 minutes. So here, hopefully you noticed what happened when I clicked on that video was I actually was brought into a concept sheet with an integrated video. So what that means is I can now watch this, but let's say your child wants some more information, they can scroll up and it's all very intuitive and easy to work through. So I just want to show you the quality of the videos that we have to offer you. And I'm gonna give you a moment. Hopefully you can hear this.
We got sound.
Amazing. Thank you, Doug.
Yeah. A fluid is a substance that can flow or spread. Substances that are in a liquid state and substances that are in a gaseous state are fluids. Particles in liquids tend to be close to each other, where particles in gases tend to spread out and take up all the available space. Fluids, whether liquid or gaseous, tend to take the shape of their container.
And as interesting as it would be to have a workshop on compressible or incompressible fluids, that's not why we're here today. But I just wanted to show you the quality and of our team who build our videos, and they are very visually engaging and stimulating for students. We do have another kind of video we have currently designed really for high school students in mind, but they're called crash courses. So I'm going to scroll up back to the top of our website, and you'll see if you go to Explore, we have crash courses. Our crash courses are amazing because they're videos with integrated interactive elements. So here you'll see that we have 32 because they are a labor of love. So I'm going to use this one as an example. So fractions, secondary 1 and 2. We know that fractions are often a head scratcher. So here, this would be a great opportunity for students in grade 7 or 8 to review this concept, let's say before an end of year exam. And so what I love about these is that we have these sections within the crash course. Like here, for example, we have things to know before you start. So before you even start this crash course, you should make sure that you're comfortable with these concepts. So here we have connections with fractions. Yes, well, we have this link back to that portion of our website. We should know or feel comfortable with different types of fractions. So we should know what a mixed number is. We should know what equivalent fractions are, what the greatest common factor are, and what lowest common multiple are. So at this point, this is kind of a checklist. And if your child is reading any of these titles and one of these doesn't ring a bell, they would then be invited to click on the link and they would be brought back to a concept sheet on that idea that maybe they don't remember. So like I said, we really try to make things easy and fluid for them so that there's no more roadblocks in their understanding. So now here I have this things to know before you start. I feel good. I really think that I have a good grasp of these ideas. I can now scroll down to this interactive video. And here, I think we have a question.
It's okay.
Yes,
I can wait until you're finished explaining this, but I just have a question about crash courses in general.
Okay, so you know what? I'll finish the crash course and then I'll get back to you, Jackie. Okay, great. So these crash courses, what they are, as you can see, it looks like a regular video, but we have these little bubbles at the bottom here. And so what these bubbles are interactive elements. So I'm going to just skip ahead in this video right before this bubble, and I'll press on play so we can see.
What is the first step in dividing fractions? Change the division sign to a multiplication sign, and A, invert the first fraction, B, invert the second fraction, C, invert both fractions, or D, write the fractions on the same denominator.
And so in a traditional video, you would have to click on pause and you would maybe engage in a discussion with your child about what the correct answer would be. But here the video is actually stopped for you and we won't be able to move forward unless we answer this question. So obviously we didn't watch the previous 3 minutes and 48 seconds, but at this point we would hopefully be able to answer the question, what is the first step in dividing fractions? And here, I know the answer, great, but I'll make a mistake. I'll say invert the first fraction because again, making mistakes is a normal part of learning. And so here I can see that I got the question wrong. And so often when I go into schools to present Alloprof to your children, to students, I say, okay, well, if you got this wrong, what should we do? And the answer is, hopefully, we know that we should probably go back and rewatch that first section of the video, or maybe even go back to some of these ideas of things to know before you start. So it gives your child an opportunity to self-reflect, and not just absorb the entire 11 minutes of this video, let's say, and realize that there are components even at the beginning that didn't solidify, or rather we didn't conceptualize them correctly. So that's how the interactive component of this video works. And for larger concepts like fractions, as we know, there's a lot to know. There are even multiple videos within a crash course. The crash course also has a key takeaways section, which is also really great. So let's say your child would have an assessment on fractions coming up. The key takeaways would be a great thing to maybe include. If they were allowed a memory aid, they could put these ideas on their memory aid, or really just make sure that they're comfortable with all of these ideas in the key takeaways section. And again, within the crash course, we have exercises. So again, this would be another opportunity for them to get that immediate feedback. They can then click on start, and we have kind of a quiz format, just as we did earlier in the concept sheet that I showed you for imperative sentences. So that's the idea of a crash course. It's kind of everything in one place. So I'll go back to Jackie, who I believe had a question about crash courses.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, I know you did say it's a labor of love, and I can tell by all the interactive elements that there's a lot that goes into making a crash course. But are you updating this section? Because this is a really great section for exams. And I'm just wondering if it's something that's, being added to. And also if you take into consideration the like, let's say, I don't know if you keep track of the questions that students send in, and if the same topic is being repeatedly, like if students are asking the same thing over and over, if you consider making a crash course on that.
Yes, we definitely do. Our content team certainly speaks to our teacher respondent team. So we do take into consideration if there's an idea that keeps coming around, we try to create content on that. Obviously, I don't know that it would directly translate to a crash course necessarily, but we typically, if it's a larger idea, we don't make crash courses for maybe smaller ideas and concepts, but things like fractions or logarithms, or even in science, I know they have the cell. I will say, to go to your question about if they ask the same type of question, will it appear in the content? Right now, we really only have crash courses for science and math. And I know that they are looking into other subjects, but we haven't explored that currently yet. I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. One of the reasons I asked, I was trying to find the question, but it's in my email buried from months ago. But for example, a science teacher told me, because there was an entire 2 classes of science who did really poorly on one particular exam, and the teacher said kids, and they're Sec 3, and the teacher said Sec 3 kids tend to struggle with, and it was something, I believe it was, I don't think it was states of matter, but anyway, I was trying to find it. So I was just thinking, if a teacher, for example, knows that, then, if they could tell you guys that, and a crash course, or I know it's a lot of work, but anyways.
But yes, we are here to service the community, right? That is our mission, is to help students succeed. So if we did receive that feedback, and I would even invite you, we have a platform, our service client, that you can go and even put in your feedback. That's really what we're here for. You can even email it to me and I'll pass it along to the key players in those decisions. But we're here to make learning easy for children in Quebec. So any feedback that we would get, we're very receptive to.
Okay, and then I have another question. It's a bit more general. I'm sorry for
not at all.
This is great, and there's a ton of information. I know we're going to get the presentation, but I was wondering if you had like a fact sheet for elementary school students or high school students, because then we could kind of share. Did you know, if your kid is struggling, go to crash courses, go to this, rather than having to, because we all know parents don't always have the time to open all the emails and read everything, right? So
of course, yeah.
Does that exist?
In the parents section, there will be what we have are, we call them topics, or we have blog posts. And sometimes those blog posts are really like things like how to use Alloprof to support my elementary school child. We have these kind of all-in-one spaces where we link to different resources on our student platform, and that's on our parent platform. And they're all created with different themes. So sometimes we have articles that are for students or for parents of children with learning differences, and then we have a bunch of tools for them, or if it's the school transition. But we don't have, we certainly probably do have a very general one that I could go in, and if it's helpful, I could try to find that and send it along to Doug, who could pass it along if anything, or I can even post it in the comments of the Facebook event as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Doug and I are we're involved with the same school, so.
Oh, okay, wonderful. So any news he gets, you'll get too.
Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful, no problem. I think we have another raised hand.
Catherine has her hand up.
Catherine?
What I wanted to recommend is that this is something that you can put in the EPCA newsletter. And for the parents that don't know, Alloprof writes a blog post each month in our newsletter. So this is something that would be, I think that's the best way to get the information out there. We'll highlight it in our newsletter.
Perfect. And so you're thinking that just like a general, because I know I'm the one who writes them monthly. So they're all themed. So if there's a specific idea that you'd like us to talk about, please, I'd be more than happy to hear.
No, but I mean the guidebooks, like we can have like a little blurb that says, hey, you know, parents, if you have any questions, you know what I mean? Like just a little,
absolutely,
like a little standalone thing that always appears that say, hey, like just like your top tips, exactly what Jackie said. I think that would be valuable.
Perfect.
And we can just leave it like a standalone on our newsletter. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you're looking for this, click here, you know, just to give like
I
a
love
little
that.
guide. Yeah. That way
I'm
it's
writing it
always
down.
there. The parents get it in their inbox once a month. I mean, those who register for our newsletter.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay.
I'm on
I'm
it.
happy to do that.
Yes, Jackie.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to hog the time.
No, I love it.
Just to tell you why I asked that question. So just before midterms, which was January, I introduced my son to Alloprof, and he's in Sec 3, but he opened it up, opened a topic, and then he said, yeah, maybe I'll look at it later. And I don't think he ever looked at it later. So I was kind of like, maybe I can help you, but I didn't really know where to go. And then we were both busy. And so anyway, now that I know what I know there's places where he can go for specific questions. He can go for the crash courses. But I just think I wish I would have, not that it makes a difference. He did fine, but you know, it's additional resources, you know.
That's why we're here, right?
Right.
It's to share the good word. So I'm so happy to hear that at least he had the instinct to go for the first time, and now we'll just the more he uses it, I think it'll become a reflex. We like to call it the Alloprof reflex when students and children just know that they have a school related question and their immediate reflex is to come to us. So that's what we're trying to build. Of course. All right. So I showed you videos.
I just want to jump in at this point because the iron's hot. I put the link to the EPCA newsletter in the chat. So everyone can click on that and subscribe to the EPCA newsletter where this month, in a couple of weeks, you'll receive exactly what we were just talking about straight from Cassandra and EPCA.
Yes. Great. So looking forward to have you read more. And so I've dived into our content sheets, our crash courses, and our videos. And I'm now going to show you our most popular resource for students. And so I'm going to go back to our homepage, and this is where children typically go as they go on our website. And you can imagine that I'm talking about our games. And so our games, currently I have 4 to offer you, and they're all of really incredible quality. We have Speedy Rabbit, which is a mathematics operational game where you're a little rabbit and you have to correctly answer operations in order to have your rabbit go faster and ultimately win in a race. We have a game called Book of Spells, which is essentially a Tamagotchi, and hopefully you understand the reference I'm making, but it's you're given a little monster and you have to correctly care for it, you have to feed it, you have to make sure it's clean, and you have to play with it. And the only way to do these things is by correctly answering reading comprehension questions and to gain items. So we know students love this idea of caring for their own little pet and having them level up. So that's our game, Book of Spells. We have stories currently in English and in French. We also have Solitary Reaction down here, which is a balancing chemical equations game, so chemistry game for secondary 4 and 5 students. You'll notice I glossed over a game, but it's actually my favorite. It's called the Motivational Timer, and this is a tool that we show students, and I'm actually going to show it to you in some detail because it's a really good tool for homework and organization and planning and avoiding procrastination, which I know maybe some of your ears are ringing at this. So you can download our motivational timer on the App Store or the Android Store, or you can access it directly on our website, and that's true for all of our games. You'll notice here that we ask you to log into your account, and there are many really amazing reasons to create an account on Alloprof, namely being able to speak with our teachers or ask a question on the help zone, but also to save your progress in games. You can also have your child filter our entire website by their grade level, and they can favorite pages. So let's say if we had, I think Jackie was talking about maybe States of Matter, if that was something that we wanted to go back to, I know we have a concept sheet on States of Matter. It could have been favorited and then referred to again later if you have an account. But I'm going to show you what this game looks like without an account, so you can continue without logging in here. And basically, this is an organizational tool, which is based on the Pomodoro method. And I'm going to turn off the sound so you can hear me. But your child could come home, and you could even do this with your children, depending on their age level, and you can create your evening session while including what homework they have to do or studying they have to do. So today is Monday night. You can go in and type in Monday to make it even more personal to that specific day. You can start off the night with maybe some French homework for 30 minutes. You can, and we're going to say 30 minutes. Maybe they have a geography assignment that requires a bit more time, so we're going to put 45 minutes. Then, you know what? We're going to have dinner, so you can click on Other, and you can actually plan in that time aside, and this is up to you. Or you can do all your tasks before dinner, or you can just have a snack. And then we can finish off the night, let's say, with math, and we have a few questions to finish for tomorrow, and we'll give ourselves 30 minutes to do that. Now that I have my plan for the evening, I can click on Start, and so your child could then pick a nice background, something that's calming. My personal favorite is the spaceship, but as you see, we have many different options. And so this is a visual cue. It also encourages them not to go on other platforms that might be distracting, if ever, but we kind of give them this visual cue of the spaceship moving on into space. We tell you what you should be working on, so your child knows exactly what subject they should be focusing on and how much time they have left to work on that. So what they've decided for themselves, and hopefully if maybe it's a discussion between your child and you, we can have an honest conversation about how much time should be allotted for certain things, or maybe they're at the point where they can make those decisions with that self-awareness. Now, let's say they finish their homework early. Amazing. What we can do at that point, and I'm just going to make this full screen, is I can pause it. I can also say I am, done my French assignment, so I can click on completed. And the reason, and then I have to actually confirm that, yes, I'm done. The reason we like showing this to students, to children, is that we like to get rewards when we complete tasks. I know I love to make lists with things I've done already just so I can cross them off. And that's because we kind of get a little reward out of completing something. We feel good about it. So here we actually do give them a reward for completing a task. And it's very simple. So they can either choose their reward at random. We have different challenges that they can do. So these are like building a paper airplane. We have exercises where we can get them moving. And we also have interactive games. And now this is the most popular among children. And it's really just what we call a palate cleanser. It has absolutely nothing to do with their schooling, but it's usually a game that lasts no more than 5 minutes. And it just allows them to kind of have a little reset before they move on to the next task. So here I would say, you know what, I'm done with this reward. I can even skip it if I want. And it'll show you then, okay, we're moving on to our next task, which is geography. So I love our motivational timer. It's my favorite game in the game section, but we also have so many other incredible games. So I'm going to go back here. Speedy Rabbit, by the way, we just launched a multiplayer mode. So if your children are within grade 1 to 6, and we all know that our children could use some help with their arithmetic even farther than that, you can maybe play against them or have them play against their siblings or even their friends. I do also want to mention that you may have noticed that we didn't have a section for French resources. Now, we are exploring how we're going to, how and when we're going to be able to provide French second language resources. But for the moment, I do want to reassure you that we have so many games to help with French. So if you click on Français, you'll notice that these are all games that were made a long time ago. We have 16 games that can support them as well in French, and a lot of these include French language games. So I just wanted you to know that that's there. And if there are specific ideas in French that you want support in, they can be adapted, obviously, for French second language quite easily. But I just wanted to be transparent and have you know that currently that's what we have on the website for French. It is something I am working on, though, and with your feedback, I can move that along as well. I'm going to go back to the English website. We're going to be kind of going through the rest of this quite quickly, but there is something I want to talk about, and now that's end of year exams. We are after March break at this point, so that time of year is creeping up, and we have so many resources to help your children with their end of year exams. The first I'm going to mention are our review guides. So if we type in directly to our search bar review guides, we'll see here that I have 63 different results, and I'm going to dive into this science review guide. So this is review guide science for all of secondary. I can see secondary 1 through 4 because we know in secondary 5 it's physics and chemistry. And here you can see that these review guides are based on the Quebec Education Program. And your child could then choose their grade level and their stream. So here I can show you an example of a secondary 3 AST. I've favorited this page. So if, let's say, you have a child that's taking a final exam for secondary 3 science AST, I would suggest creating an account and favoriting it. And at this point, they can go and see all of the larger concepts that should be covered in this grade for this subject. So here, material world, living world, tech world. So let's say they want to review the living world. We have all of the concept sheets for all of the subtopics as well. So it's very easy to follow. You'll see that we have all of the different topics, all of the different themes that should be covered in this grade level in this subject. So you'll see it's quite a long page, and these are all clickable links to other resources on our website. So those are our review guides. I like to remind students to use this kind of as a checklist. Do you feel good with all of these ideas? These words, at this point in the year, most of them should be ringing a bell. And if not, I mean, keep that in mind when you're going to be reviewing for your end of year exams. So those are our review guides. We have them for multiple subjects, but they're really good resources to get started for your exam review for, let's say, science and math. Speaking of math, another tool that we have are our mathematics memory aids. So as we know, students are allowed memory aids for their mathematics exams. And so we can go in and type memory aid and see what tools I have to offer you. So here I have 14 different tools. Let's look at this memory aid for mathematics secondary 4 CST. So you'll notice that they're also streamed. This would actually be for a ministry exam course. And again, these memory aids, I'm sure you've heard this terminology before, where they have to write one and make sure it's handwritten. If it's the end of the year, it's usually double-sided. And so you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, can they just come onto the website and print one out themselves? No, that's not what these are. These are really, again, kind of like checklists, but they're also suggestions. So in this case, we're looking at all of the topics and subtopics that could appear on the secondary 4 exam. In CST specifically, we do have a different one for SN and TS, depending on your child's math stream. And these are all concepts they should feel good about. So let's say they're making their memory aid at the end of the year and they remember that, ooh, metric relations, that quiz didn't go as well as I would like. Well, hopefully they have the reflex to come to this memory aid. Let's see what I can put on my memory aid about metric relations. And we give you a bunch of resources here. So these are ideas of what you can put on your memory aid. Maybe all of the correct annotations for a right angle triangle, maybe all of the equations that you would need to correctly answer a metric relations problem. We even have fully worked out examples, and we do give them the opportunity to try the example on their own first. And then once they try it, they can see the solution. And if they got it wrong, it might be a good idea to put a concept like this or one of these examples on their memory aid. So that's how we use these memory aids. And if you're looking at the side of my screen with the cursor to go up and down, you see that this is a very big document. So there's a lot to put here. The idea is not that your child is going to put every single idea on their memory aid, but rather it's a tool for them to go through any ideas or concepts that they might have a harder time with. So those are our memory aids. And the last tool I'm going to show you before we do an official Q&A period is our simulation exams. So if you go to our search bar and you type in exam simulation, you'll receive 20 different search results for ministry exam simulations by their sections. So in this example here, I have 20 that popped up. I can look at this exam. Again, we have math, we have science currently only for these simulations, I should mention, because of the style of the exam. This is what we're currently able to wrap our minds around. And let's say for this ministry exam simulation, this is for secondary 4 SN, section A, and we kind of give your child some information about what they could expect on this section of their exam. We give them their suggested materials, remind them to bring their memory aid, ruler, set square, all of these things, and we give them tips as well. And once they have all of these materials in front of them, pretending it's really the real deal, they can click on start and they're inside a mock ministry exam simulation. So I always like to suggest to students to try this a few days before your ministry exam, after you've done the bulk of your studying, so that it gives you an idea of, oh, am I as prepared as I think I am? So it gives them that self-reflection as well. So those are the tools on the student website that I wanted to show you. And I know the website is a deep cave of all of these amazing resources, and I've only just scratched the surface with you. But I'm going to give us a bit of time now to ask some questions. Here I go over why it's great to create an account. And you know what, while I have your attention, I'm just going to show you that it's very easy to create an account. I'll log out of mine. All you have to do is click on my account, even if you don't have one, and you'll see here that you have the option to create one. Once you click on that, you have the option to either create a student account, parent account, or professional account for teachers. And it's really simple. There's only 3 steps. You have to choose your province, which should be Quebec for this for today's workshop, and the language of instruction and the grade level. So it's very simple questions. You do need an email address to sign up, but it can be your email address as the parent if that's what's convenient for you. So I'm going to open the floor now for any questions. I don't believe we have much time, so maybe I will see if there are any questions. I think we were asking them throughout.
If anybody does have any questions, don't hesitate. Put up your hand, or at this point, you can speak up and ask.
We're all comfortable here at this point.
Yeah.
Sorry, I do have a question.
I love it.
For the, oh my goodness, I've just forgotten my question. I was having trouble figuring out how to unmute. Anyways, I'm sorry, I will stop speaking, and if I remember, I'll put my hand up.
Oh no. Well, I hope you remember soon. All right. Okay, so I'm going to move on. I think we all feel comfortable being able to have a discourse with conversations throughout, with questions throughout. So please don't feel shy to raise your virtual hand if you have any questions. Before I move on, just because, oh, do I see a virtual hand?
Yes, I remember.
Yes, wonderful.
Okay. So if your child is in, for example, French immersion, so most of their courses, so by the time they reach secondary school, most of their courses are in English, but there are a few that are in French, for example, science and history or something of the sort. If they create an English account, can they still access content, for example, for French history?
Absolutely. So the toggle for language doesn't go away. So what I mean by that is if I go to the website here, even if I log into my account, this toggle remains here. So I know a lot of students in high school will have history course in French. If they're in a French immersion program, they could then access whatever content they want that throughout their English account, let's say. They still have access to this French button. All they have to do is click on Français, and the web page is redirected to our equivalent French web page. So it doesn't block that access. That's a great question, actually.
Thank you.
Wonderfully. Okay, wonderful. And thank you. Okay, so one thing I did want to say, and I know we have parents here, and I know you're working with schools very, very closely. So I do just want to let you know that we do offer workshops for students in class because I've showed you so much information. It's sometimes it's easier to show the children immediately all of these resources. So I'm lucky enough to be able to go into so many schools this year and share our resources. We do have one workshop for elementary schools at the moment called Discover Your Alloprof Superpowers. And for high school, we have an introductory workshop called Alloprof, Your Wild Card for Success, and one that's called Prepare for Your Exams with Alloprof, which usually we get a little bit busier with this workshop at midterm and end of year. Yes, Catherine.
So would it be helpful? So are you telling us this? So that's my first question is this. Are you telling us this because you want us to facilitate introductions to our children's schools or classrooms? Or
You
you're
have
just
that
giving this to
opportunity.
me as a point of information?
Both.
Okay. So what I recommend for the classroom stuff, because I didn't know you could do that, is that's an amazing thing to put in the new APCA newsletter. And then what
Okay.
I'll do is if you send me like a little graphic, I can do the did you know that Alloprof can come to your kid's school? You know, like a little graphic, and I'll put it on Facebook. And
Perfect.
parents can get the information there, and then I'll send it to the parent committees across the province. That way it can go via the PCs, the parent committees, and then they can have the information. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's incredible. That's why I always put these in here because I never know. Sometimes there'll be an avenue that opens up. And thank you so much, Catherine. I'll be sure to
You're
send
welcome.
you that stuff.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, Jackie.
No, somebody else was talking. I'll talk after.
Oh, I was reading a question. So Benan said, will you be going to Kingsdale Academy? So the way that these work is teachers will either write to me. We have um, you'll see here a website where you can actually book a workshop directly. So it depends on which teachers are hoping to have us in their class. And I'm currently working very hard to have teachers even know that we have this resource to share with them, these workshops. So at the moment, I don't have any scheduled workshops with Kingsdale.
But that's the thing, though. People don't know that this is an option.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that your way in is really going to be like, we'll share it with EPCA, we'll get our parents to know, and then via the governing boards or the parent committees, that's the way you'll get to get this information, because it is pretty
Yeah.
valuable if you can teach the children to do it, to be quite honest. That would be
Exactly.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing.
definitely.
Great.
That's what I was gonna say. It would go through EPCA to the parent committees. Parent committees have a rep from every, in theory, have a rep from every school on it, or two reps from every school. Governing board goes down to the governing board. Well, it's teachers who have to engage the
Exactly.
Alloprof. There is a leap there, but we could request, we could instruct the GBs to ask their staff council representative to present it at staff council at the school as something, and to make the teachers aware of that. So there is
Yeah.
definitely a way that we could have this and
Amazing.
see how that trickles down. Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, I've been so lucky. I've been very well received by certain schools. I go in to present to teachers, the entire all of the teachers within certain schools. I've been doing quite a few workshops, so there is interest, but it's however we can get the word out there. I'd be very happy to send along those graphics to you to share that. Wonderful. Thank you, Leslie. Great. So yes.
So I just wanted to ask, so is this a class by class thing that you do?
It is a class by class thing. The
Okay.
reason is because we make it an interactive exercise, so we can't really have more than 40 students at a time, or else we lose their engagement. And we want it to be engaging so that they really retain that we're a resource that they can use.
So in high school, I guess it would be a homeroom teacher that you would need, or any teacher?
Any teacher. Often I've been into a lot of French teachers' classrooms. Science teachers will have me come in. Really, anyone who knows about our resource often is very excited to have us come in, and that's part of my job, right? Is to let people know that we're here to share this with their students.
Okay.
But it can
thank
be
you.
any teacher.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, I'm so excited that this created some excitement. Great. So I'm going to move on to the last portion of our presentation because we do have 15 minutes left. And I'm going to talk to you about Alloprof parents. So 3 years ago now, we realized that the best way to support students was to support them ultimately, yes, but also the key change makers in their lives, which are their parents and also their teachers ultimately. Here we have a resource, a platform for you that I'm going to show you where to find, but it's a space where there are hundreds of articles, blogs, and tips. We have printable tools with fully created games. All you need is a printer, which I know sounds like nothing, but not all of us have printers at home, but they're very easy to send along, to our bureau en gros if ever. But we have also our latest news that you can access. So when we have our relaunches of our workshops, we usually put that there as well. We have videos created just for you. So there's an example up here of parent questions, parent answers. So it's real parents discussing concerns that exist in our lives with our children. So here it's, for example, helping your child dealing with performance anxiety. We know that's a very real thing. So we always try to listen to the community and see what they want support with their children. And we also have education specialists to answer your questions. So this is really an invaluable resource that I'm going to show you. So I'm going to toggle back to the website. And here we ended off talking about that resource and being able to access things in French and English, and I showed you how. But I'm going to go back to our main page here, and I showed you right at the beginning of the presentation where we had a page for students, parents, and teachers. So here I'm going to show you the Alloprof parents page. We have this Zen Flo, who is our mascot, who's calm, who has all the information they need and to help their child succeed. And we have a different way of exploring our content than for students. We can go by theme or by content type. So the themes in question are things like homework assistance, exam preparation, difficulties at school, whether that be learning differences, or maybe it's a transition from elementary to high school. We have encouraging reading and writing, because we know that this is extremely important for our children to have a love of reading. Healthy life habits, educational activities, school levels in Quebec, and report cards and our school system in Quebec. So I just want to reiterate, this is a free service that's made for Quebec parents by Quebec educators, people within the education community. I also want to show you that you can explore by articles, blog posts, topics, which are basically these larger compilations of resources that we have on our website all in one place. We have printable tools, videos, and so on. But I want to show you this talk to a professional button, which is very similar to our ask a question button. And here you can, it's basically the 811 of education. So, I mean, I know as someone who has a toddler at home, I've called 811 many a time when I didn't know the answer to a medical question. And there's no shame in that. And there's also no shame in calling for an education related question for your children. So we have orthopedagogues, we have educational specialists, we have people who work with children with learning differences. We have a lot of different professionals who are here to answer your questions. So you can reach them via Messenger. It actually redirects you to our Facebook page where you can interact with them there. You can write an email if you have a lot of information you want to share. That might be an easier way to do this, or you can call. And again, the hours to call are the same as our for our student platform. So it's from Monday to Thursday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And here we also redirect parents who have a school subject related question for their children, and then they would be redirected back to the Ask a Teacher platform. So this is a great tool. It's something that's so unique to our province, but I want to show you kind of what you can expect to find on our Alloprof Parents platform. And you know, exam prep is a hot topic right now, considering the time of year. So I can dive in here and show you what you can expect. So here we have 61 different resources on exam preparation. We have resources for all levels. We have printable tools. We have topics. So topics, again, are these larger concepts where we collect all of our different resources. So here for exam prep, we have everything to help with studying. So we have how to create a conducive to learning study environment, study planning. So we have printable tools that you can use for planning, how to prepare for an exam. So like I mentioned, these topics are kind of a combination of all of these different resources that we have that you could have found elsewhere. I do want to show you, let's say for exam prep, one thing that's really good to know is we have these tools for specific exams. So secondary for history ministry exam, how to prepare. So maybe it's something, it's been a long time since we've been in high school. Maybe we don't remember exactly what these ministry exams look like, and we know that they've also changed. So here we break down the exam, the evaluation criteria, how your children can best prepare, things to keep in mind, and study tips. So we really kind of make it easy for you to understand what your children are walking into when it comes to these ministry examinations. We don't obviously do these for in-house examinations because every school does things differently. But for ministry exams, we have a lot of information to share with you, how the exam is evaluated, how they can prepare, what resources that they're allowed to bring in, and so on. So these are really, these are tools that are very informative. We also have these study tips. So here, this kind of goes back to Jackie's question earlier. So for this example, for history, we do have this kind of like clickable link of all the resources that would be helpful for this particular exam. But so this is a very informative web page, but we also have pages or tools that are maybe just a bit more, I don't know, fun and activity ideas that you can do with your children at home. So I'm going to show you. So we have this theme called Healthy Life Habits and Educational Activities. I really like this one because even during those snow days that we just had, we have a ton of different ideas that you can explore with your children on days off. So we have 225 different tools. We try to keep up with the time of the year as well. So we just created one for Valentine's Day. So this would be a board game. And I haven't even seen this one in great detail yet, but we have this board game here. We have the objectives. We have variations depending on maybe the grade level, or if you have more than one player. And it's really just a printable board game. So if I downloaded it here, you can see that we have the rules, we have the board itself, and the cards that would be cut out. So it's great to know instead of spending money on yet another game. If you're a household that likes board games, I know we are at my house. But so we have these board games, which are printable resources, but we also have activities that require really just materials you have at home. So one of the pages that I really like is our, yes, here. So using cooking to support your child's learning. So we all have to cook, whether that's a good thing or not. Here we have different ways that we can use cooking to support your child's learning. And so it's just giving you maybe some tips, some ideas, some different perspectives on how you can integrate learning experiences into the everyday parts of life. So here we have ask your child to read the recipe out loud. So different just considerations. We have meal planning and budgeting. We have another board game called the Allo Market, which is a grocery store game where they are given a certain amount of money and they have to kind of buy all these different ingredients for a recipe. So this is really just, like I said, scratching the surface of our tools for Alloprof parents. I'm going to go back onto our presentation here because I want to show you, I just showed you a few of the different tools we have to offer you, but we have things like notes to leave in your child's lunchbox, the one I just showed you on using cooking to support your child's learning. We have a whole topic on learning differences, 5 ways to increase your teen's academic perseverance, getting organized, and how to find a specialist for your child if that's something you need as well. So we have really a plethora of information and that covers a wide variety of needs and grade levels. And for printable tools, we have a lot of really just engaging activities too, like I had showed you with the Valentine's Day board game, but we even have things like outdoor treasure hunts. This memory aid is new, and personally, I love it. It's what do I do when I don't understand something? And it's kind of a checklist. So it's something that you could print out, put on their homework space if they have a designated desk for themselves. And if they have a question that came up during a homework assignment, they kind of know the steps that would need to follow in order to get the information that they need. And I know this might sound obvious to us, but sometimes putting it in black and white is what's most helpful to our children. We even have exam survival checklists and reading challenges as well. And just to mention, I know Learn is a pillar of the education community in Quebec too. And, you know, we love to believe that we offer really complementary, we have a complementary partnership. So I just want to reiterate, we don't do long-term tutoring with our Ask a Teacher. It's really just for homework related questions. And Learn is incredible and really does offer that. So I just want to remind you, if that's something that you're looking for your child, they're an excellent resource and a partner as well. And really, we're coming to the end of the presentation. Timing seems good. And I just want to let you know of a few contests that we have. So the EPCA has a newsletter. We also have one too, if that's something you'd be interested in. You can scan the QR code with your phone right now if that's something you'd like to sign up for, or you can click on the link once you have access to the presentation. By signing up for our newsletter, you actually get entered in a draw to win $300 toward a family outing. So it's a nice little incentive as well. So those are our contests going on at the moment. We do have a Facebook page. We have a newsletter, as I mentioned, and we also have a YouTube channel. So all of these are clickable links once you get the presentation. For our Facebook page, if you go on Facebook and just type Alloprof in English, you'll find us there. And really, I'm coming to the end of my presentation. I would invite you to fill in the survey here, so you can scan the QR code or enter in this link or click on it once you receive this presentation. And it helps us know how to better service the population that we're really here to support. And we'd love to hear from you. And I hope this session was informative. I loved our back and forth and our discourse. So I leave the floor to you. If you have any more questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And thank you, Cassandra, for a great presentation. Do you have the, can you put the PowerPoint in the chat?
Oh, absolutely. Let me do that right now. I think I'll just download it and I can put that.
Please email it
directly.
to us as well, please, Cassandra.
Yes, I believe I believe I've already emailed it to Doug. He has access to it.
Okay, Doug, so you email it to me too, please.
I do.
Oh, I think Doug is on mute.
Yeah, I am. I'm dealing with my 10-year-old. So I email it to Catherine. Very good. Let me see. Cassandra. Perfect. Here it is. I believe this is it.
I'm not
Yeah.
able to enter in a PDF into the chat, unfortunately. It says that I'm restricted from doing that, unfortunately.
Okay, so Catherine, I just sent it to you.
What I can do is I can, yeah, because I can't, unfortunately, it says that I'm restricted. I'll try one more time. No, I'm not able to do that. Unfortunately, I can't upload it here, but is there a way for it to be, I guess, shared with the people within the presentation at a later date or at a later time?
Doug, we got an email with a Zoom link. So do you get a record of everyone that
Good
registered?
question. Yeah, yeah. Let me just check that out. I'll go into.
And just to answer, Banan had a question here. So to explain in the email simply how teachers can contact you, in the presentation, that's also why I made that slide. I'll just show it again. But in the presentation you will have this, oops, and I'm just going to share it again, this slide, which shows teachers very easily how they can request a workshop. And that's either by clicking on these book links directly. If those, for whatever reason, are just an image file, they can type in alloprof.ca/workshop or just email me directly. And I'm the one facilitating these workshops at the time. So hopefully that answers your question.
I can put a file. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, it says I wasn't able to, but hopefully.
It's not letting me from my computer, which is weird. Let me see if I can just drag and drop it. No. Is Catherine still here?
No, she
Okay,
is
she's
not.
gone.
It doesn't
Okay.
seem so.
If anybody wants this PowerPoint now, you can put your email if you want directly to me in the chat, and I can make an email and email it to you from my EPKIT email address and just attach it. That I can do that right now. So I will generate an email. I'll BCC everybody. and put, yeah, okay, so it's a PDF. Why didn't it attach? Okay, there we go. So now go back to the Zoom in the chat. Thank you. I see Irene, BCC. There we go. I got Irene, Leslie, and Jackie. Okay.
Have a great evening, Irene. Thank you so much for the feedback.
Hey, great. So I have the 3 that sent me direct messages. I will email that right now. BCC. I just put thanks. The message is titled Alloprof. And the PDF is in there.
Awesome. Great.
Cassandra, are
Yes.
you comfortable if we share that presentation with other people, or do you prefer being the one to share the presentation?
I am absolutely comfortable with it being shared. That's the idea too. So I'm more than happy to have you share it with your community.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh, hang on. I see another chat email. I'll send that one to you now too.
So thanks for everything, Cassandra.
Of course, Jackie.
Yes.
Doug, can
super.
I ask a question while you're doing that?
Yeah,
I
for sure.
believe you did I could be mistaken. I'm on the board with the QFHSA. Did you do a similar presentation with them a few weeks ago? Or yeah. Did
Me?
Alloprof?
Okay, I didn't know if it was for Doug. With the QFHSA, that was in discussion, but I haven't done one yet with them. I was in attendance at their conference earlier this last year.
Yeah, I met you there actually. So
yes,
I was just
you look
ask
familiar.
yeah. So can I share this with them?
Please. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
I'd be happy to work something out with them as well. I know that was in the talks.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, super. So I sent it to everyone who's asked for it. 1 second, I have a 10-year-old knowing I'm in a meeting. Okay. So I with no further ado, thank you, Cassandra, again for the second time this year, and we'll do it again next year, and we'll try to spread it around, spread the good word of Alloprof around. And for everyone who's here right now, just like to mention that Alloprof, Cassandra mentioned, was exclusively in French, and it was thanks to EPCA's initiatives with Alloprof that got the content translated into English by pushing to have it done and pushing for funding to have it done as well. So we feel a great partnership with Alloprof because of that. And we're very proud of the work Alloprof does, and both my kids do Alloprof.
Amazing.
And both my kids also do Learn. So they're complementary services to help us help our kids. And it's great to have you. Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you, everyone else, for being here. I'm going to stop recording and wish you all a pleasant evening. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful evening, everyone, and be seeing you in different avenues.
Thank you.